The 5th Plague Company of the Death Guard Legion has many warbands that are cursed throughout the Imperium and beyond, yet few are as notorious or reviled as the Vectorium known as the Weeping Legion. Their grotesque and horrific Daemon Engines are rightly feared by all military tacticians fighting in Imperial war zones. Few who are forced to fight these disease-encrusted warriors of the Grandfather ever walk away, much less walk away untainted, only worthy of extermination not to spread contagion. The Vectorium is dominated by the maniacal plague lord Vthoriac seepspread, who's well known to have 3 mephitic blight haulers as pets near him at all times. He always keeps the Daemon Engines on the verge of starvation to make them ravenous for flesh, to which he grants the demons at times to feed when he wants to make an example of someone, be it enemies or establishing dominance. Vthoriac greatly enjoys his pets ripping apart those who displease him. Yet, despite this seeming cruelty, Vthoriac's pets have a strong loyalty to their master and find great pleasure in his pleasure. This relationship between Daemon Engine and Death Guard particularly is strong within this Vectorium. This unnatural bond has gained the ire of some Chaos Lords and respect from others. However, their renown is most substantial at their home, because within the Eye of Terror on the Plague Planet, this Death Guard Lord maintains a vast and horrific dungeon called the Cyclopion within the Plague Company's stronghold. And in the deepest levels of the dungeon are kept the company's horde of Daemon Engines. However, slaves of the Weeping Legion can be heard in decrepit cries of sorrow and agony all throughout the dungeon. These slaves feeding their own kind to the demonic monstrosities below. The once recognizable humans are now deformed from contagion and drag themselves about while consumed in body horror maladies, their lives slowly rotting away, just like their minds, and all for the glory of the Vectorium. Yet as long as their afflictions and mutilations do not get in the way of their morbid duty, they don't have to worry about becoming the next meal for the Vectorium's Daemon Engines. Though all the members of Nurgle's Legion are horrors to look upon by those of the Imperium, this Vectorium is particularly grotesque. The Weeping Legion is a nightmare-given form. Their rot-encrusted armor constantly leaks blood and pustule fluids from wounds that never heal. The cascading infectious pus gives off a potent smell of hideous toxicity that makes most mortals go unconscious after getting a single whiff of the stench. Their ancient armor so crusted with pestilence and filth, it's hard to make out that it was once ordinary ceramite at all, though despite the ruin of their body and war gear, it all makes them more resilient to damage. The gifts of the god are never pretty, but usually come in some beneficial manner. This blight that the Weeping Legion is known for has many names, such as the Sangus Flux, the Viscid Scabpox, or the Everbleed. In any case, these plague marines leave a messy, disgusting goo behind them and a malignant trail wherever they go, and puddles of pus and blood-ridden filth grow about them wherever they stand. That is, unless the marines are blessed with mutated, oversized tongues protruding from their torsos and bodies that lick up the filth and relish the exquisitely feculent taste, because many of the Death Guard actually have such gifts from the god. But let's just assume that the Weeping Legion are not often welcome among the ships and strongholds of other traitor legions or heretic Astartes in general, because to say that their presence leaves a mess would be an understatement. Despite their horrifically disgusting physical aspects, this Vectorium has much to offer in the ways of warfare, because theirs are the most potent and formidable Daemon Engines among the Unbroken Blades. No other Plague Company could ever hope to rival them in this category, and among the 5th Plague Company, no others are more proficient in harnessing the warp's power to put in machines as this Vectorium is. Daemon Engines are notoriously unstable and violent. They are demons of the warp harnessed forcibly, imprisoned through occult rituals and sorcery into machines after all. These entities are often opposed to such slavery, and as they corrupt the vehicles and machines to their own will, they often lash out at their captors. The only way to really handle Daemon Engines is they have to be dominated in the extreme to be used efficiently. Powerful Chaos Lords indeed must do so to make sure that they are useful in battle. But afterward, the Daemon Engines must be chained or locked away lest they attack their own. Their unpredictably violent nature is just as dangerous to the warband as it is to the enemy. The Weeping Legion, however, is the exception to this rule. Plague Marines, Blightlord Terminators, and basically all the Vectorium's infantry have discovered a way to work in tandem with the Daemon Engines. It seems like the relationship between a pet and its master. They march right beside them into battle with little worry. The imprisoned warp entities do not attack them before or after or during a battle. The Weeping Legion's unique bond with the engines has granted them a stable relationship. The Vectorium even shows the Daemon Engines camaraderie by allowing them to consume and pick from what they want to do with the dead and wounded after a battle. So the numbers of Mephetic Blight Haulers, fetid bloat drones, and all the Death Guard Daemon Engines are far greater numbers in this warband. The Weeping Legion has a thirst for ever more and more Daemon Engines to engage in their warfare style. And when it comes down to the warpcraft concerning Daemon Engines, there's no more significant source than the Dark Mechanicum. So the Vectorium has made many dark pacts with them and pursued many quests in payment of the Mechanicum's skills in warp harnessing. They've even attacked Forge Worlds on many occasions, and Skitarii corpses are useful, but it's the technology that they seek across all aspects in those they slay that serve the machine god. This focused hostility has made the Weeping Legion an arch foe of many Adeptus Mechanicus forces. They loot and plunder, then take what they collect back to their Dark Mechanicum allies. Through their heretical knowledge, the Legion has only grown in its ability to field Daemon Engines on a much more regular basis than other Death Guard Vectoriums, earning them the jealous ire of the rest of the 5th Plague Company. During the war between Wa Kraktooth and Imperial forces within the Lorfac subsector, the Plague Company also appeared in real space to pursue their own agenda and engaged in a three-way war. The Weeping Legion were among the Vectoriums of the company to engage in the conflict. However, they did come across some issues in this war. Due to the region being so close to the Necron Pariah Nexus, the Death Guard could not use their warp-touched contagions when close to it. So they avoided it if possible, but sometimes it was unavoidable. The Necron technology made any warpcraft or anything concerning the warp whatsoever pretty much null in the area. However, during this period, the Necrons must have been active because 3 alien factions flood their territory within the Nexus, plunging themselves into the war as well, making it a 6-way battle, 6 separate battling armies in the war. Now, the Legion won victory after victory anyway against all the factions, and especially against the Orcs and the Astra Militarum, infecting billions of Orcs and humans with the Sangus Flux, their worlds reeling from unstoppable pandemics. For those that survived, death would have been preferable because hundreds of thousands were taken back as slaves to the Plague Planet, yet the biomatter reaped from the war showed to be invaluable. From the 3 alien factions from the Pariah Nexus to the Orcs and the humans, the corpses of the infected enabled plague surgeons, biologist putrefiers, and foul blight spawns to concoct even more deadlier contagions within the 5th Plague Company's stronghold back on the Plague Planet, and they had plenty of new slaves to experiment on. The whole success of the war seemed like a blessing from Nurgle, and this greatly pleased the Plague Lord Vthoriac. In fact, there was no doubt within any of the Death Guard that the Grandfather had great favor to show towards the Weeping Legion.